Hey guys, as you've previously seen, my 911 is beautifully all painted up, so I thought, why not start cutting into it again? Alright, so before you start screaming, what the hell are you doing? Basically, as most of you would know, these old 911s are air-cooled, but technically it's probably more accurate saying that they're oil-cooled because they carry a lot of oil, and this particular year didn't come with any type of front-mounted oil cooler. A lot of the 911s have an oil cooler up inside this front guard. Mine doesn't have that, it never came with that, but I've got this nice big hole in the front of the car here, and I happen to have got an oil cooler that should fit there nicely. But to get it to fit there, I might have to do some cutting. Okay, before I start going through and cutting into the car, I need to finish off this wheel that I started last week. So first thing is to mask it all up so I can paint the black. Some of my masking in here left a bit to be desired. There's a bit of there's a few black spots here, so handy airbrush will get out. I've just made little cups so that it doesn't get too much overspray on the black, and should be able to touch them up and it should be okay. Alright, that wheel can sit there for the time being. I'm not in a huge hurry to clear coat it because I know I'm going to be cutting into this, and I'm going to have to clear when I get in there, so I'll mix up the clear when I'm ready to do that. So let's start trying to fit in an oil cooler. Alright, so I knew that I needed to fit an oil cooler to this car, particularly because it was going to be running a bit higher performance and I want the engine to last. So I went online and I did a bit of research to try and find an oil cooler that I could buy off the shelf that wasn't going to cost me a fortune. And I came up with this oil cooler here. Now, this is apparently an aftermarket oil cooler for a Mazda RX-7. So I measured the size of my opening and punched in the dimensions, and this is a pretty good, pretty close fit. The only thing I didn't think of until this morning, actually, when I was sort of thinking about what I was going to do, is that the inlet and outlet of this oil cooler are on this end of the oil cooler. And if I mount it this way, because the oil lines run down on the right hand side of the car, the trouble is that this is upside down. Looking at this design, this is basically set up so that the oil enters into one of these chambers, travels along, comes up, and then travels back in down to the other end. So this is gate is separated out in the middle here. Now if I mounted this up this way in the car, that means it's upside down because these openings are would be towards the bottom, which would mean there would be a big air pocket in these top runs that would never get filled with oil, so it's never going to be as efficient as it could be. I have to get custom made hoses anyway, so I'll just mount it this way up and get the custom made hoses to reach around to here. A bit more hose is not a bad thing, it means a bit more cooling along the length of the hose, so let's work out where we're going to mount this to start with. Alright, let's run through where I'm basically at this stage. The issue I have is that, for starters, this doesn't even fit behind the bar because, particularly where these mounting points are, but even if it did, if it's sitting hard against here, it's not going to get any airflow because the air can't go anywhere. So what I need to do is I need to actually cut out a section of the front of the car, and I'll resheet it on an angle going back so that the air can flow through and down and out under the car, so it actually gets some airflow through the oil cooler and cools the car down. So first thing I've done is I've measured out exactly where this sits. So the first job is to cut this square across here, and then I've sat the dodgy spare wheel into the car. And an interesting note about these wheels is that apparently this actually serves as a integral part of the front crash impact protection. I've put just a piece of tape on the floor there where I can work out, okay, I can cut back to there. All right, it fits. All right, that's the first step down. It actually fits. As you can see down in here, we have a big gaping hole, but it all fits in there nicely. So basically now I need to fill that hole in with some sheet metal. Okay, so I've just spent the last half an hour or so on building up this template. That all fits in really nicely. I've measured it up with the oil cooler, and there's plenty of clearance in behind for all of the lines, etc. Okay, so the next step is to take this out and mark it out on my steel plate. Now I mark my fold line and then we'll go and bend it. Alright, that's all looking really good. It all fits nicely. These little side pieces all fit in there exactly how they should. So now it's time to tear it all out, grind all the edges back and get it ready to weld. Alright, so the ducting is all done in behind here. So now the next step is to actually make up the mounts to mount the oil cooler so that it is bolted to the car and not just sitting inside the front part. So basically I've been doing a bit of thinking, trying to work out how I'm going to mount this oil cooler into the front, and it's got these two mounting points on the end, on either end, and I've got some of this simple, looks like 3mm steel bar. It's only going to be a short length. I think that's going to be plenty strong enough to mount it. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out a couple of lengths of this, drill some holes in it and mount it straight onto the oil cooler. I've bought some little blank grommets that I'm going to drill out, and so it'll have a little bit of rubberized mounting as opposed to being a fixed solid mount on there.
Get stupid!
Alright, so I've got my brackets made up. There's a bracket on either end. They're already screwed onto the oil cooler. So now I'll fit it up the bar with the oil cooler in it and mark out where it needs to go.
Hey guys, I guess it's time for Fun Facts with Mrs. Jeff. Hi guys, Jeff finally let me put the angle grinder down. So here I am with the next fun fact. Porsche 911 actually started out as Porsche 901. What happened was Porsche came along and they said, guys, we've actually got naming rights to any car with a 3-digit number with a 0 in the middle. Okay, Porsche simply replaced the 0 with a 1, giving us the 911 that we know and love today.
Alright, that's all done. The welds don't look the greatest, but that's not a big issue as the whole thing is going to be stone guarded anyway. So time to get under there and rust convert the whole thing and get some paint on there.
Get stupid!
Alright, we're all masked up, so let's put some edge primer on it. Alright, we're ready to stone guard, and this time I've actually got some black stone guard which might look a bit better. And I've also, I thought I'd try something different. Because this stuff is water based, I thought using this old crappy spray gun might be a better option, as this was used for house paint And I do remember back when I used it, it was really splattery paint anyway, so it might be exactly what I'm looking for this this job here. Alright, that's a much better option again for the Schutz gun. This thing, when I took the air cap off, it made a nice splattery, Schutzy mess. So, alright guys, that's all I've got time to do this week. I've got to wait for this all to dry before I can go through and paint it up again. And also it's Friday afternoon, and this has got to be edited and uploaded in a couple of hours. I hope you guys are enjoying the videos, as I'm enjoying making them. So please like and subscribe and share the videos. And hopefully I'll be able to keep bringing you more and more good stuff every week. Alright guys, here's some outtakes from Mrs. Jeff.
I want it turned on.
You got to push the bottom and sort of slide it up.
That ankle... No.
Jeff,
start
finally
again.
let me put that on there.
I keep going ankle grinder, but it's actually angle grinder.
Yeah.
But you might grind your ankles.